Hello, my name is Michael Dwyer, and I'm with Rochester Writers. Once again, Rochester Writers and the Rochester Hills Public Library have teamed up to host the annual Rochester Author Fair, now in its fifth year. We're hosting 20 authors in person at the library in downtown Rochester on Saturday, November 25th from 10 a.m. until 3 p.m. These short videos offer you a chance to meet each of the 20 authors. And right now, we're meeting Susan Sage. Hey, Susan, how are you?
Hey there, Michael. I'm just fine. Thank you so much for you and the other people on the Rochester Writers crew for allowing me to take part in the author fair.
Well, it's our pleasure. It's a team effort, and we try to pick 20 authors. We have a mix of seasoned veterans like yourself that have published 3 books. We've got people that have done 20 books. We have people that are out with their first book. So it's a nice mix for people to come and shop on that Shop Small Saturday, squeezed in between Black Friday and Cyber Monday, right after Thanksgiving. And you're going to be one of 20 authors there. You've got your new book, Dancing in the Ring. It came out this year. Tell us about Dancing in the Ring.
Okay. Let's see if I can remember my elevator pitch here. Dancing in the Ring is a historical fiction novel set in Detroit in the 1920s through the 1930s. It's considered considered biographical fiction because it's about the lives, particularly of two people who were local celebs during the 20s and 30s, and they happen to be my great aunt and uncle, Robert Sage and Catherine McIntosh. It's basically their love story, but also the story of the times in which they lived. They met at the Detroit College of Law in 1922 and were married within a few short years of meeting each other in law school. She was one of the first women attorneys in Detroit, and he had a boxing career that began before his law school days, and he became known as the battling barrister in the Detroit area. So it was, as you know, the 20s and 30s were turbulent times, and their marriage went through some definite ups and downs, and they flew a little too close to the flames of fame, if you will.
It sounds exciting. And so it's a love story wrapped around the time period that it was set in, their careers, their profession, their background. And I thought it had something to do with boxing, with the title, Dancing in the Ring.
Exactly. That's
And
right.
you weave that into the story as far as kind of like going into court as a battle.
Exactly. Well, exactly. In their romance, which then culminated in a marriage, became a pretty turbulent one. So it really has to do with the dance they did with each other, trying to get through the peaks and valleys of their married life.
Now, when you were preparing to write this story, was this family history that you had heard about for years? And how
Oh,
much research did you have to do to get the story finalized?
great question, Michael. And I heard the story countless times by my father. My dad was also Robert Sage, prosecuting attorney for in the Detroit area for many years, and I grew up hearing the tale of Bob and Catherine. In fact, so much that I used to kind of eye roll my dad at the dinner table when I'd hear the story. And he told me way back when I was in my teens that knowing I love to write, he thought I should write their story down. And I kind of eye rolled him and yeah, Dad, sure. I couldn't see myself writing historical fiction, although I loved writing poetry and other kinds of fiction. So I really came into this as a novice historical fiction writer. Um, but I discovered, and maybe it goes back to my own college days, my love of research. So, besides my father's stories and newspaper clippings and various just like little family memorabilia, I had a lot of holes in the story that I had to fill in. So I did most of my research online and really discovered the joy of research when I was working on the book.
Well, it's so exciting, and I encourage everyone out there to come on by the Rochester Author Fair. It's the fifth one, and you can meet authors such as Susan Sage and get to know them and their story. And it puts such a background face and personality to the story that hopefully they'll end up reading when they buy your book. Now, quickly, you've got two other books. Will those be available there too? And what's their names?
Let's see. The first one, sadly, it's out of print, Insominy. I think it's still available from Amazon. I want to do a re-release of that. My other one, though, I will have copies of A Mentor and Her Muse, which is more psychological fiction.
Well, great. Well, we look forward to seeing your books and you at the fifth annual Rochester Author Fair again on Saturday, November 25th. Susan, we'll see you there.